on my break from work right now, and wanted to take a few moments to share something a bit off-brand. I have mostly videos of bike stuff on this channel, but I was just walking around doing my stuff that I do on break when I bike home, let the dogs out and stuff, and I was having this thought that I just wanted to capture. So first, to explain it through an example, there was a vacuum cleaner, a rug vacuum cleaner that Erica had rented from Kroger, and it had a Charlie's doing his business. It had a broken wheel on it, and geez, Charlie, look at this idiot. It had a broken wheel on it, and Erica thought that she was going to have to pay for it, and she was kind of worried about whatever kind of fee she might have to pay, because the wheel had obviously broken on her watch. Charlie's making me laugh. And so I took a look at it, and I was able to fix it because it was a really simple kind of system that was in place for how this wheel was actually attached to the actual vacuum cleaner. And so there's this continuous present mantra in my head that I sort of approach all problems with, and it's something that my grandpa, my dad's father, is purported to have said, and I'm not sure if it's true that he said it or not. I never heard him say it necessarily, but all of his children say that he said it, and that it was that the first step to trying to solve any problem is that you have to look at it, and I think that's probably where most people choke up most. When something breaks, it sort of elicits this irrational reaction, because it's when something breaks, it's disorderly and it's chaotic and it's hard to understand, because it's not expected behavior. It's not something that you were anticipating necessarily, and so the knee-jerk reaction that you might have to that is I guess not even really misunderstanding so much as un-understanding, just the lack of being able to comprehend and understand the situation. But when you look at something, and when your first step to evaluation is to look at it and to simply sort of take an account of what is in front of you and what the status is, and what was working about it, what happened, why it is now broken, whatever it might be. This doesn't really apply to human relationships, unfortunately. But with most things that are inanimate, it's I guess for medicine and things like that, you can also use the same kind of logic. But the first step is that you have to take a look at it, and you have to really evaluate it on that level. And I was just thinking about that when I was taking out the garbage cans just now, because those garbage cans have a similar kind of wheel design where they hold the wheel onto the chassis of the garbage can in a really crude and basic way. It's just a metal axle and a plastic wheel, and there's a little cap thing that keeps the wheel on in a certain area so that it doesn't fall off. And that made me think, it's a really elegant way to solve every single problem. As long as you have enough competence to kind of understand systems in general, you can look at something and really look at it and try to formulate a way of remedying whatever kind of problem might be occurring. For me personally, when a problem happens, when something breaks, I almost can't even help myself but to think about ways to fix it, solutions, workarounds, whatever it might be. That's one thing that kind of plays into my insistence on always checking stuff. I walk around my house several times a day, opening this and closing that, and making sure that I have sort of a working diagram of everything that's in my house, and I know what items I have and where they are. And instantly, when a problem occurs, I have all of that at my fingertips. I know where all my tools are, where all my tape is, where where my screws are. It's basic stuff, but the elegance of that philosophy that, you have to look at it, is kind of profound, and it's really elegant. And it reminds me also of unified field theory. So when Albert Einstein was trying to kind of square the circle of the things that he had figured out about light with special relativity and things like that, when he was trying to understand how that would apply to the burgeoning field of quantum mechanics and stuff like that, everyone was looking for this unified field theory, and it was presumed, given the eloquence, or not eloquence, but the elegantness of E equals mc squared, the simplicity of that, and sort of the undeniable truth based on the simplicity and the application of that, it was assumed that there would be something equally simplistic and elegant that could bridge the gap between the very, very big and the very, very small. And having this philosophy of looking at something, having that be the first step to solve any problem, it just seems like such a truism, such an overwhelming, it's a powerful thing, something that can't be shaken. I guess you could call it a truth, just a capital T truth. It is the first thing that you should do when something goes wrong. And you don't have to do it. It's not a prescription. Lord knows I hate people telling me what to do, and I would certainly never tell anyone else what to do, as much as I can help it. But, I used to kind of sit around and hope that I would have some sort of a stroke of insight, and that something as elegant as unified field theory, or something you have to look at it, would just kind of pop into my mind, because apparently that's what Albert Einstein had happened as well with I don't remember if he was a dream or something like that, where he was riding a beam of light or something like that. It's probably all apocryphal. Who even knows what happened when no one. I guess if I read a autobiography or a biography of Albert Einstein, I could probably figure it out with a little bit more veracity. But in any case, it's just about time for me to go, head back to work. Can't stop thinking about trying to go across the country on my bike. I feel like it's my only goal. It's something that just keeps coming. I guess I'll end the clip here with this last little thought. One of the reasons I want to go cross country is because when I went to New York, and I documented this in the little podcast that I made about the journey there, I was basically seeing if I would get to a point while riding my bike where I was like, why am I doing this? This sucks. This isn't worth it. Just a moment of a really low moment. And in the 10 days that it took me to get to New York, I didn't hit that. And I did have a relatively, shall we say, #blessed journey there. It didn't even have so much as a flat tire. And the weather was pretty much perfect. It wasn't very hot. It rained one time for 13 seconds. And I was staying at Airbnbs and stuff the whole way up, and I had plenty of food, and there wasn't really, for me, given what my standards are, there wasn't much struggle. It was conditions that I was pretty used to, and so I was able to work with them. So I am curious what a trip that is 3 times as long, 4 times as long, 30 days, 40 days, going cross country, the different challenges and landscapes and all the things that would be different, markedly different than going to New York. That's intriguing to me because it scares me, and I do kind of have moments where I'll be like, well, why even put myself through that? Why go and figure out if I'll hit that low point? So not hitting the low point itself, but anticipating what the low point would feel like, and having a reaction to that. That sort of reaction I've heard from people, quotes and stuff, that that's the kind of stuff that you should run directly for and toward. Yeah, I'm starting to ramble now if I'm getting into that. But that's kind of where my head's at right now. Yeah, it's a nice day. Dogs are outside. Got the Baby taking a nap. Charlie's hot. Egg is hot. There's water out here. Alright, it's time to go pick up some poop. Make this yard nice. Keep it that way.